Today, we are going to get into the psychology of someone you almost definitely know. You know, that person who is so strong, so capable, but who struggles completely in silence. We're going to figure out why some people just can't bring themselves to ask for help.
I mean, really think about it. That friend, maybe a family member, maybe it's even you. You can literally see they're drowning under the weight of it all. You offer them a hand and they just wave it away.
The classic two-word defense, right? I'm fine. It's not just a phrase, it's a wall. A wall they build brick by brick to keep everyone out, even when it's so obvious that everything is falling apart on their side of it. And you probably see them as the fixer, right? The one who solves everyone else's problems. But when it's their turn, nope. They shoulder every single burden in total isolation. So that's the real question, isn't it? Why? And let me tell you, it's not about pride. Not really. It goes so much deeper than that. To really get this, we have to rewind. We have to go all the way back to the beginning. Because for a lot of people, this intense self-reliance wasn't really a choice. It was something they had to learn to survive. Just imagine growing up in a house where your feelings were just dismissed, where you were told to stop crying, or maybe you got labeled too sensitive, or, and this one is subtle, you only got praised when you were quiet and low maintenance. Every single time you reached out for help and got shot down, you learned a really powerful lesson. It is just safer to stop reaching out at all. And our brains are smart, they adapt. They start writing this new protective rule book. Rule number 1, needing things from other people is a threat. Rule 2, my emotions are a burden to others. And the final, biggest rule of all, if I just rely on myself, I can never, ever be let down again. And this is where everything changes. What starts out as a pretty useful skill, being independent, it starts to harden over time. It's not about being capable anymore, it's about being impenetrable. It becomes armor. Now, this armor we've been talking about, it actually has a clinical name. And once you hear it, it kind of reframes this entire thing, not as a sign of strength, but as a scar. It's called hyperindependence, and yep, it's considered a trauma response. It's what happens when your earliest experiences drill one lesson into you. You cannot count on other people, not for support, not for safety. So what do? You turn inward and become the only person you can truly rely on. And this creates such a painful contrast. On the outside, this person looks like a rock. They're self-sufficient, confident, totally in control. But their inner world is the complete opposite. It's incredibly lonely, filled with deep trust wounds, and a constant humming feeling of being unsafe. Because here's the bottom line. Asking for help means you have to be vulnerable. And for the hyper-independent person, their history has taught them that vulnerability is a huge liability. It once cost them something. It led to pain or neglect, and their nervous system has a very, very long memory. So when they go quiet, what's actually happening underneath all that armor? Well, it's not arrogance, it's not stubbornness, it's fear, pure and simple. And it's not just one fear, it's a whole tangled mess of them. They are terrified of being seen as weak. They're terrified of being a burden on someone else. There's this deep fear of rejection, of hearing no just like they did in the past. And there's even this fear of owing someone. But maybe the most painful one is the fear of just being disappointed all over again. And on top of all that, there's this relentless inner critic, a voice that's always whispering, you should be able to handle this. Just get it together. Don't you dare make this a big deal. That shame is the lock that keeps the silence in place. So it is absolutely crucial that we reframe what we think we're seeing here. This doesn't look like incredible strength. This looks like a person who is stuck in survival mode, using the only strategy they ever learned to feel safe in the world. Okay, so here's the paradox. This is the part that you might recognize immediately. It's about the person who gives absolutely everything, but just can't seem to take anything in return. Isn't that the truth? The person who will never, ever ask for help is almost always the first person to show up when you need it. They will drop everything for you, listen for hours, solve your problems, and never ask for anything back. And this explains why. Helping other people feels safe. It puts them in control. It gives them a sense of purpose. And honestly, it keeps the focus off of their own pain. But receiving help? Oh, that feels dangerously exposed. It requires a level of trust they just don't have. and it forces them to show the very wounds their armor was built to hide.
Okay, so let's talk about this. We all have that person in our lives, right? Maybe it's a friend, a parent, maybe it's you. The one who's always the rock, always capable, the person who just handles everything. Well, today, we're going to pull back that curtain and really look at what it costs to always be the strong one.
And from the inside, it doesn't even feel like a problem. It feels like a badge of honor. Being hyper-independent feels like you're doing the right thing, the responsible thing. It's not just a behavior, it's part of your identity. You're the pillar, the one who can get through anything.
And this gets us to the heart of it all, what I call the myth of silent strength. What's so wild is that the people who live this way, they often don't even see it. It's just their default setting. I mean, society loves this kind of stoicism, so why would you ever think to question it? It's sold to us as a virtue, a sign of real resilience.
But that's the real question we need to ask, isn't it? Because under that super capable surface, a kind of debt is building up. Not a financial debt, but an emotional and physical one. So what is the actual price of all that silent strength?
I want you to think about it like this. Every single problem you solve on your own, every worry you carry in silence, it's like adding another small stone to a backpack you never take off. You get used to the weight, sure, but that doesn't mean it isn't slowly but surely crushing you. Let's unpack what that invisible weight is really made of.
And you can see the fallout it's pretty severe. It's a nasty cycle too. The sheer physical exhaustion leads right into emotional burnout. That constant pressure to handle everything, it creates this humming, persistent anxiety that never goes away. And you might even start to feel this quiet resentment bubbling up toward people who just don't seem to be caring as much. And it all leads to this profound sense of isolation because nobody knows how much you're really struggling.
And here's the reason that weight becomes so impossible to bear. This isn't a character flaw, it's about our biology. We are fundamentally, deeply social animals. We are wired for connection. Our nervous systems were never designed to operate alone in a vacuum. They were built to work together. This term, co-regulation, is so important to understand. It's basically when we lean on someone else, we share our stress, and their calm, safe presence helps our own body to calm down. It's why a good hug can literally change your state, or why just talking a problem out loud with someone you trust makes it feel so much smaller. This isn't a luxury, it's a biological need. So when you refuse to ask for help, you're denying your body this crucial process. Your nervous system gets stuck in the on position. It's constantly in fight or flight, always coping, always managing, with absolutely no release valve. And eventually, something has to give. Not because you're weak, but because no system is designed to run at 100% capacity 100% of the time.
Okay, so we've talked about the what, but now let's get into the why. Why do we build these walls of self-reliance so high that no one can get in? The reasons for this run deep, and they are incredibly powerful. Just look at this internal math. It's a total trap. Your self-worth gets tangled up completely with your capability. The story you tell yourself is, my value as a person is directly tied to how much I can handle without breaking. So asking for help, it doesn't just feel a little uncomfortable. It feels like a catastrophic failure of who you are. It feels like you're losing your value, losing your very identity. And then there's control. When you do everything yourself, you control the outcome. You're never left waiting for someone who might let you down. Now, this isn't about being a control freak. This is a survival skill, a shield that you probably built a long time ago to protect yourself from chaos or from people who are unreliable.
But if we just dig one level deeper, what is that need for control really protecting you from? What's the core of vulnerability that's so terrifying it has to be avoided no matter what?
And there it is, the big one. The deep, profound fear of being disappointed, of being let down. The risk of reaching out and finding no one there to grab your hand is so painful, it just feels safer to do it all yourself. By never asking, you never have to face the heartbreak of someone not showing up for you. It's a shield against that pain.
But here's the beautiful, tragic paradox in all of this. For all the self-protection and all the high walls, there's a deep, quiet longing, a secret wish that sits right below that stoic surface.
This is the secret wish, right? That someone would just see the struggle, without you ever having to say a word, that they would look right past the I'm fine and just say, that they would truly see you, not the capable machine, but the tired, struggling human being underneath all of that strength.
And that they would offer a safe place to land. An invitation to finally rest. To trust that someone else can help hold the weight, even just for a little while. And this is so important to get. It's a total misunderstanding to think that hyper-independent people don't want help. Oh, they want it. Sometimes they want it more than anything. What they're avoiding is the terrifying vulnerability of asking for it, of opening themselves up to that core fear we just talked about. So, this brings us to the most important question. How do you heal? How do you find your way out of that lonely fortress you've built? Well, it's not about suddenly flipping a switch and becoming dependent. It's a gentle, really courageous journey back to connection.
And the healing, it starts so small. You don't have to demolish the whole wall at once. Just start by loosening one single brick. Maybe you express one real feeling to someone you trust. Like, I'm feeling really overwhelmed today. Or you accept one tiny offer of help without immediately trying to pay it back. Or maybe you just practice saying the words, even to yourself in the mirror. Actually, I could use a little help. Each small step builds that muscle of vulnerability.
This right here, this is the new mantra, the new belief system you have to build piece by piece. It's about reframing everything. Needing other people isn't a sign of failure. It's a sign of our shared humanity. Interdependence isn't weakness. It's our greatest survival tool as a species.
And this is a message of compassion for yourself. That fierce independence, it served a real purpose. It kept you safe when you needed it to. You should honor that. But the war might be over. You don't have to be in survival mode anymore. You can move from just surviving to actually truly living.
And let's end on this final thought. What if we completely redefine what strength looks like? What if real strength isn't about how much you can endure in silence? What if it's about having the incredible courage to admit your limits, to be vulnerable, and to say those 5 simple, terrifying, and liberating words? I can't do this alone.